Imagine this. You're walking down a crowded street. Faces pass by, voices blend into the air, yet you feel invisible. Have you ever felt like the world watches you but doesn't truly see you? In this world of ours, obsessed with constant exposure, where every step is shared, every achievement shouted from the rooftops, likes, comments, shares, constant validation has become our new addiction. But what if I told you there's a secret? A secret so powerful it could change the course of your life forever. What if I told you that the real power lies in what remains unseen? Welcome to the art of disappearing to be reborn. In the next few minutes, I'll take you on a journey that could revolutionize your life. I'll reveal the best-kept secret of success, how to fade into the shadows and emerge as an unimaginable version of yourself. And let me tell you something. What you're about to discover isn't for everyone. It's for those ready for real transformation, for those unafraid to venture into the unknown. As we move forward with this revelation, you'll understand why some choose to stay until the end. Because every second of this journey holds a piece of the puzzle to your transformation. And those who have already embarked on this path know that sharing this knowledge is like passing a torch in the darkness. You light the way for others without losing your own light. So, if this resonates with something deep within you, if you're ready for change, stay. This could be the conversation you've been waiting for your whole life. In the next few minutes, we'll unravel the 3 crucial steps to your metamorphosis. The art of strategic disappearance, transformation in the shadows, and the triumphant rebirth. Each step will bring you closer to the version of yourself you've always known exists, but perhaps didn't know how to reach. And remember, this journey we're about to embark on together isn't just information. It's an invitation. An invitation to join a community of people who have decided to take control of their destiny. So, are you ready to disappear and re-emerge as the best version of yourself? Let's begin. But before we dive into this transformative journey, I want you to understand something fundamental. This is not just another motivational video. It's a practical guide on how to radically change your life, how to develop yourself in secret, and how to disappear only to reappear as an improved version of yourself. Get ready to learn the art of improving in the shadows. Imagine this. It's a Saturday night, and you're at a party. The air is filled with laughter, music, and that constant hum of conversations. Everyone seems to have something to say, something to prove. I'm launching my startup next month, someone says to your left. I'm about to close $1 million deal, boasts someone on your right. The voices blend into a cocktail of ambitions and dreams, each person trying to outdo the other. And there you are, in the middle of all that noise, in perfect silence, watching, absorbing, planning. While everyone is competing to be the center of attention, you've discovered the true power, strategic silence. But make no mistake, this silence is not passivity. It's not surrender. It's the first step in your metamorphosis, and it's more powerful than you can imagine. It's the art of how to disappear and improve. Think of it this way. When everyone is shouting their plans to the world, who has the advantage? The one announcing every move, or the one moving in the shadows, invisible yet unstoppable? This strategic silence isn't just about keeping quiet. It's an art. It's about learning how to move without leaving a trace, like a ninja in the night. It's about working without seeking applause, like an artist perfecting their masterpiece in the solitude of their studio. It's about growing without witnesses, like a tree deep in the forest, strong and majestic. In this world of constant noise, where every thought is shared and every achievement is broadcast live, your silence becomes your superpower. It allows you to focus completely on your growth, free from the distractions of others' expectations or constant comparisons. This is where you learn how to develop in secret. Every book you read in private, every skill you practice in solitude, every habit you change without announcing it, is a brick in the construction of your new self. You're building an improved version of yourself, far from curious eyes and unsolicited opinions. But be careful. This path is not without its dangers. Even your closest allies, those who genuinely want the best for you, can unintentionally become your greatest obstacles. Their expectations, their well-intentioned advice, even their support, can divert you from your true path. That's why, if you choose to share your journey with someone, Choose your confidant with the same wisdom a king would use to select the guardian of his most precious treasure. Find someone who understands the power of silence, who respects your need for space to grow, and who can be your anchor without becoming your burden. Remember, in this game of transformation, discretion is not just a virtue. It's your competitive advantage. Every word left unsaid is energy conserved for your metamorphosis. Every plan kept secret is another step toward your rebirth. You are learning the art of disappearing and coming back better. It's a process that requires patience, discipline, and a clear vision of what you want to achieve. But the final result is worth every second of silence, every moment of solitude. So the next time you find yourself in the middle of the noise, when you feel the temptation to join the chorus of voices announcing their plans to the world, pause, take a deep breath, and choose silence. Learn to work in the shadows. Turn your room into a laboratory of personal growth. Transform your nights into secret study sessions. Make your early morning hours a self-improvement ritual that no one else sees. Because in that silence, in that apparent inactivity, is where your true transformation will begin. It's where you'll learn to disappear and focus on yourself. It's where you'll discover that the best way to improve yourself is away from the world's gaze. Welcome to the art of strategic disappearance. Your journey to change your life has just begun. And remember, the world belongs to those who dare to disappear, only to reappear unbreakable. Imagine for a moment that your life is a book. Not just any book, but one full of mysteries, of secrets buried in the shadows of each page. The covers, worn by time and experience, hold stories that few know. Every chapter you have lived so far is the result of a co-authorship between you and the world around you. A world that has pushed you, guided you, sometimes even written lines you didn't want to read. But now, something inside you has awakened. A spark, a silent but powerful impulse, moves you to do something radical. With an almost inaudible whisper, you close the previous chapter. You feel how the weight of those lived pages no longer defines what is to come. The sound of the page turning echoes in the silence of your determination. This new chapter you are about to begin is completely different. Here, in this moment of introspection and darkness, is where the true metamorphosis occurs. This time, you are the sole author. There are no outside influences, no spectators, no critics. The shadows around you are silent witnesses to your rebirth. Think of the historical figures who, at some point in their lives, decided to disappear from the public eye only to reinvent themselves and return as something completely new. A key example is the Roman Emperor Julius Caesar, who, after being captured by pirates in his youth, secretly planned his escape and subsequent revenge. After this episode, he temporarily disappeared from the public eye, but upon his return, he not only regained his honor, but forged an unstoppable path to absolute power. In the shadow period, while no one was paying attention, her transformation was complete. Another example would be Frida Kahlo, whose life was marked by physical and emotional pain. During long periods of isolation, where suffering surrounded her, she transformed her life into a secret canvas. In those moments of seclusion, when the outside world seemed distant, Frida found a unique artistic voice that propelled her to worldwide recognition. Like them, you too can transform chaos and silence into the foundation of a new life. In this new chapter, you are the only reader of the drafts being written. No one else will know about your hesitations, your corrections, or the paragraphs you decide to delete. This is an intimate process, deep and hidden from the eyes of the world. This is the moment where the pages become a mystery. Like a manuscript hidden in an old library, only you can decide when to open it, when to reveal it, if ever. Here, in the shadows, lies your true power. It is where the most profound changes occur, away from expectations, judgments, and prying eyes. The greatest beings in history have gone through phases where they disappeared, literally or symbolically, only to be reborn. Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years, disappeared from the public eye. But in that time, his mind, spirit, and vision were strengthened, and as he emerged from the shadows, he became a symbol of freedom and global reconciliation. Your life, like these characters, is destined to go through a similar process. Disappearance is not a sign of defeat, but of preparation. It is in the darkness where the cocoon transforms into a butterfly, where the coal becomes a diamond, where the most ordinary human being is forged into someone extraordinary. It is in the silence of the shadow where you can rewrite your every line, without fear of error, without the expectations of others. This is the time to write your secret book, a chapter that only you will know. In the depths of your silent transformation, an inner metamorphosis takes place. Here, in the shadows of introspection, you become more than just an enhanced version of yourself. You are now a powerful trinity, your own harshest critic, your most devoted fan, and, most importantly, your wisest teacher. It is in this sacred space of self-creation, away from the noise and pressure of outside opinions, that the real magic begins to happen. Here, there are no external teachers, gurus, or guides. You are the artisan of your own destiny. This is the phase where you learn to take absolute control of your development, becoming the architect of your life. This is the time to learn to develop yourself in secret. Every step you take, every habit you decide to transform, every skill you practice in the solitude of your space contributes to your personal and spiritual growth. You are learning something that few understand. The art of improving in the shadows, in silence, without applause or validation. To understand the power of this phase of self-mastery, we can look to historical figures who chose to withdraw from the main stage, not to rest, but to forge ahead in the shadows. An emblematic example is Leonardo da Vinci. Before he was hailed as one of humanity's greatest geniuses, Leonardo spent years in silence, honing his skills in painting, anatomy, and engineering. As the world moved on, he became his own master, practicing a meticulous discipline that, in his time, was neither recognized nor celebrated. Each sketch, each failed invention, was one step closer to the greatness that would later dazzle the world. Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary samurai and author of the Book of Five Rings, went through a phase of isolation after numerous duels in which he honed his swordsmanship. He withdrew from public life to study, meditate, and refine his skills in war, philosophy, and art. It was during these years of solitude that Musashi became his own master, creating a legacy that has endured centuries beyond his lifetime. Silence, for him, was the training ground where he molded his mind and spirit, far from the hustle and bustle of battle. You, like them, are in that phase of your journey where every decision counts. But unlike before, where you sought external approval, now you act by you and for you. You are your own critic, and that gives you the power to correct every little mistake with precision. You are your own fan, celebrating the small victories that others can't see. And, most importantly, you are your own teacher, guiding you wisely toward excellence. Here in the shadows, you discover the power of self-discipline. No one is watching you. No one is pushing you. You alone are in charge of your evolution. Each habit you change, each new skill you master, is like planting a seed in fertile soil. At first, you don't see immediate results, but in the silence of your daily practice, something is growing. An example of hidden self-discipline is Bruce Lee, who was not only a master of martial arts in public, but also spent years in the shadows, honing his body and mind. Behind every fight scene that amazed onlookers, there were hours and hours of secret training. Lee not only became his own physical master, but also a self-taught philosopher, integrating mind and body into one being. In the same way, you are on that journey, working in the shadows while the world goes on without noticing your efforts. But that is what makes this process so powerful. When no one sees you, when there is no outside applause or criticism, that's when you can really hone your own growth process. It's you, with yourself, forging a path that no one else can walk for you. True alchemy is not turning lead into gold. It is becoming the best version of yourself when no one is watching. It is here, in the dark, that you can polish your imperfections without distraction. Just as the alchemist works in his laboratory in the solitude of the night, you are working in the laboratory of your being, refining every aspect of your life. This process teaches you that real growth does not occur in the light of day, where everyone can see. It happens in the shadows, where only you know the effort you are putting in. Like the alchemist, you are creating something priceless, a version of yourself that is destined to emerge stronger, wiser, and more powerful. Listen, can you hear it? It is the sound that accompanies every step of your journey, the unmistakable rhythm that sets the beat of your transformation. It is the beat of your heart, that constant pulsation that never rests, the inner sound of your determination. With each beat, you are making decisions that the world cannot see, but that are forging a new reality in your life. This rhythm, as silent as it is profound, is guiding every small step of your transformation. Boom, boom, boom. Each beat offers you a new opportunity, a decision, an action, a thought. Everything you do, no matter how insignificant it may seem, is creating the groundwork for your rebirth. You are changing habits that for years have defined who you were. You are mastering skills you didn't even know you wanted to have. The pace of transformation is not hurried, nor does it follow a straight line. It is a process that respects time, that moves with a cadence all its own. Each small choice you make is like a note in a larger symphony, and even if it sounds alone, it is integrated into something much more majestic. Today you decided to get up an hour earlier. Tomorrow you'll read that book you've been putting off. And the day after tomorrow you may face a fear that has held you back for years. It's all part of this rhythm. As we look at history, we see that profound transformation was never an instantaneous process. Gandhi, for example, found his rhythm of transformation in the midst of the struggle for Indian independence. It was not something that happened overnight, but the result of daily decisions, fasts, peaceful marches, nonviolent resistance. Every small action, every day, became a heartbeat marking the passage to freedom. Gandhi understood that profound change requires patience and constant adaptation, like a heart that keeps beating relentlessly without being accelerated by external haste. Another example is Marie Curie, whose transformation from a young woman passionate about science to a world-renowned pioneer was the result of years of quiet, persevering work. While others lived their lives on the surface, she worked tirelessly in her laboratory, facing enormous obstacles, both scientific and social. Her pace was neither hurried nor chaotic. Each failed experiment, each discovery, was a heartbeat that led her, step by step, toward her destiny as the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, and the first person to win it twice in different fields. Her transformation was slow, but profound. The pace of your transformation does not follow anyone else's beat. It is yours and yours alone. While the world moves at its own pace, you move at the pace of your heart. And while your decisions may seem small or insignificant in the moment, they have a powerful echo in your life. Every choice you make in the solitude of your daily routine is one more step toward building your new self. Maybe today you decided to start a new exercise routine, or perhaps you opted to change a small part of your diet. At first glance, these changes seem simple, even trivial. But what are big transformations if not the sum of small habits repeated over time? The rhythm of transformation is built brick by brick, each one laid with care and patience. An example of this transformation through small steps is that of Stephen King, the famous writer who began his career while working as a teacher and living in a trailer. King wrote every night, no matter how tired he was. Every page he wrote was one more heartbeat toward his eventual success. It wasn't a leap, but a steady series of small steps that led him to become one of the most prolific and successful authors of all time. The slow and steady pace was his key. Listening to the rhythm of your transformation also means learning discipline. Big change does not come from grand gestures, but from small habits that are sustained over time. In this process, consistency is your most powerful ally. It is easy to want to rush, to look for immediate results. But just as the heart beats without haste, so too must you move forward in your personal process. Every small success, every hidden achievement, is proof that you are on the right path. Think of the training of a Shaolin monk. Years of practice, repeating over and over again simple movements. Each kick, each stance, is one more heartbeat on his way to mastery. The monk does not rush, does not seek quick results, but aligns himself with the rhythm of his own growth. He knows that in time, these small movements will become an unstoppable force. You, like them, are walking towards something much bigger than you can imagine today. Every day that you keep pace with your transformation, you are one step closer to becoming the version of yourself you dreamed of. There is no need to run, because true growth respects its own pace. Just as your heart doesn't stop, Your process of change won't either, as long as you keep the beat. No matter how small the steps you take, each one is significant. Every heartbeat counts. Every small victory is part of your metamorphosis. Time is your ally. And if you keep listening to the rhythm of your transformation, you will realize that, little by little, you are building yourself, silently and in the shadows. In the distance, almost imperceptible to the rest of the world, you hear a constant sound. It is the echo of a construction in progress. It is not a project visible to everyone, but it is there, happening deep inside you. That sound is the work of your own metamorphosis, the process of silently building a new version of yourself. While the outside world watches the quiet facade of your daily life, great transformations are taking place inside. You are tearing down old walls, those that limited you, rebuilding your foundation and erecting towers of strength and resilience that will reach for the sky. The construction of your best version is not a project to be announced. It is a secret and private work. Like a great architect working on his most ambitious design, every detail is precisely planned. Every decision has a purpose. The world cannot yet see what you are building, but it will soon feel it, because what is being quietly created has unparalleled power. Building in silence is a skill that few master. The modern world constantly pushes us to show off our progress, to share every little achievement on social media, to seek external validation. But the real transformation happens when you decide to disappear from that noise. It's not about hiding from the world, but about creating a protected space where you can work on yourself without distractions or external judgments. Leonardo da Vinci is a perfect example of this internal construction in silence. Before the world knew of his genius, he spent years of intense study and practice in the shadows. Da Vinci was not only a painter, but also an inventor, scientist, and philosopher. In his masterpiece, the Mona Lisa, what amazes is not only the final result, but the hundreds of hours of work in secret, perfecting techniques, studying human anatomy, observing light and shadow. His genius was forged in silence, far from the public eye, until the world finally saw the result of his hard work. Another example is Nelson Mandela. While he spent 27 years in prison, the outside world believed him defeated, but in reality, he was building the best version of himself. During that time, Mandela did not stop working on his inner self. He studied, he reflected, he wrote, and when he came out of prison, he was not the broken man many expected to see, but a strengthened leader, a man with a clear vision to transform his country. His best version was built in solitude, in the silence of a cell. Before a new structure can be erected, it is first necessary to tear down the old walls. These are the habits, the limiting beliefs, the preconceived ideas that you have carried with you for years. Often, this process is the most painful, because it involves facing uncomfortable truths about yourself and letting go of that which has given you a false sense of security. Think about the life of Malcolm X, who began his transformation while in prison. Prior to his incarceration, Malcolm led a life of criminality and self-destruction. But in solitary confinement, he began to break down the walls of his old beliefs and build a new identity based on education and spiritual knowledge. By tearing down those old walls, he created the space necessary to erect a new vision of himself, a vision that would make him one of the most influential leaders in the struggle for civil rights in America. Once the old walls have fallen, it's time to rebuild the foundation. This foundation is your principles, your values, and the beliefs that truly support the person you want to become. Without a solid foundation, any building collapses at the first storm. This is where you must take a hard look at what drives you, what moves you, and what defines you at your core. Once the foundation is solid, the building of the towers begins. These towers are your new strengths, the skills and qualities you have developed through your inner work. This is where you begin to rise above what you once thought you were capable of achieving. The strength and resilience you have been quietly building begin to manifest in every aspect of your life. A clear example of this is Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times in his attempt to perfect the electric light bulb. But those failures were not walls, but stepping stones to his eventual success. Each failed attempt was a brick in the building of his resilience, a tower that would lead him to become one of the most prolific inventors in history. Edison never gave up. because he understood that the process of building quietly, away from the immediate expectations of success, is what would ultimately lead him to create something that would change the world. Disappearing does not mean running away from the world, but finding a refuge where you can work on yourself without the pressure of outside eyes. It is an act of courage because it requires facing your shadows, tearing down your own walls, and committing to the difficult task of building something new and stronger. True transformation happens not on stage, but in the solitary rehearsals, in the daily decisions, in the moments when no one is watching. You are creating a version of yourself that not even the world can imagine. And when you finally decide to step out of the shadows, you will be an upright tower, an unshakable structure that has been shaped, not by external pressure, but by your own internal effort. That's the real magic of disappearing and getting better. What is most fascinating about this process is not only the obvious change, but the silent and profound pace at which it occurs. While the outside world watches with eyes that can barely grasp the surface, you are evolving at a dizzying pace, in layers that others do not see. Your acquaintances, those who think they know you, try to fit you into the image they have always had of you. They can't imagine that, beneath that familiar appearance, every day you are a little different, a little stronger, a little closer to the vision you have of yourself. Silent evolution is the art of transforming your essence while the rest of the world barely notices. Evolving silently means learning to work away from the gaze of others, without the need for immediate approval or recognition. It is the power to develop new skills, adjust your mindset, and break old patterns, all while the world goes on, oblivious to the internal metamorphosis you are undergoing. This is an evolution that does not require applause or external validation. It is a deeply personal journey where every step you take is a victory in your development, an advance towards your best version. The power of this evolution lies in its authenticity. You are not changing to impress others, nor are you molding your life to fit someone else's expectations. You are evolving because you recognize the internal need to do so. This process requires a kind of strength and discipline that many do not possess, because working in the shadows means resisting the temptation to show your progress prematurely. It is allowing change to mature, allowing new skills, knowledge, and habits to take hold without the pressure of external judgment. Vincent van Gogh is another example of this kind of quiet evolution. During his lifetime, he was considered a failure by many of his contemporaries. However, far from seeking the approval of others, Van Gogh continued to paint, exploring his art and developing his unique style, almost in isolation. His genius was recognized only after his death, but that did not stop him from evolving as an artist during his lifetime. Every brushstroke he made in the solitude of his studio was a step towards his inner evolution as a creator. Van Gogh knew that the true value of his work did not lie in fame or immediate recognition, but in the process of personal transformation he experienced through his art. While the world goes through its routines, you are moving forward. You are making conscious, small but powerful decisions that others do not see. Every new habit you adopt, every shift in your mindset, every time you face a part of yourself that you had previously avoided, you are adding a new piece to the puzzle of your best version. This invisible rhythm is the inner heartbeat of your evolution, an evolution that does not need to be announced. Silence is not absence. It is the fertile ground where true transformation occurs. By working in the shadows, you are not avoiding the world, but preparing a version of you that will be so solid, so authentic, that it will not need anyone else's validation. Silent evolution is growth in its purest form, because it is born out of a deep desire to be better for yourself, not to be seen or recognized by others. A notable example of this is author Franz Kafka, who throughout his life wrote works that he considered too personal and often inappropriate for his time. Kafka lived much of his life in silence, allowing his writing to evolve in private. Only a few friends knew the true extent of his literary genius, and it was after his death that his work was discovered and appreciated by the world. His creative evolution, quietly and without the need for recognition, resulted in some of the most influential texts in modern literature. By moving quietly, with purpose, each step you take in your personal growth is a step toward a version of yourself that, though invisible to the world now, will soon reveal itself. But the most powerful thing about this process is that when that moment of revelation comes, you will be unshakable because your evolution was not influenced by outside noise. It was you yourself who created this change, day by day, with patience, discipline, and a deep connection to your inner vision. When you finally emerge from the shadows, you will be a new version of you that few could have anticipated. This is the power of silent evolution. Not only does it transform you, but it gives you the freedom to do so without the shackles of other people's expectations. You are creating, day by day, a version of you that is deeply aligned with your desires, your goals, and your purpose. Metamorphosis in the shadows is a profoundly transformative process, but it is not easy. Changing quietly, away from the eyes and opinions of others, requires a mental and emotional fortitude that few people are willing to cultivate. There will be days when you will feel alone, days when the path will become blurred and doubt will assail you. Those are the times when the temptation to share your progress with the world can seem almost irresistible. But you must remember, this is your secret chapter. The true revelation will come in time, but not now. Now is the time of the chrysalis, the time of deep but hidden change. In the process of silent transformation, one of the greatest challenges is isolation. It is not only physical isolation, but emotional and mental isolation. You're working on yourself, away from external validation, and that can make you feel vulnerable. Will the change I'm making be enough? Am I going in the right direction? These questions often come up in the silence of your process. However, it is important to remember that doubt is part of the journey, not a sign that you are failing. Another major challenge of silent change is the temptation to share your progress too soon. In a world where immediate exposure and recognition seem to be the norm, resisting the urge to show the world what you're accomplishing is a test of discipline. However, the wisdom of waiting until the process is complete is invaluable. Sharing too soon can expose you to criticism, judgment, or worse, outside influences that can alter your course. Imagine a butterfly in its chrysalis, a moment of absolute transformation that occurs in the deepest solitude. No one sees how the wings begin to form, how the body adapts to its new shape. Only when it is completely ready does the butterfly break its cocoon and emerge into the world, transformed. You are in your own chrysalis. This is the time to build, to reform yourself in silence, away from the distractions and judgments of the outside world. When the challenges of silent change overwhelm you, when loneliness seems unbearable, or when doubt creeps in, remember why you chose this path. This process is yours and yours alone, designed to allow you to disappear from the expectations of the outside world and focus on yourself. Each challenge is a test of your commitment to your evolution, and facing them is a sign that you are on the right path. One of the world's greatest spiritual leaders, the Buddha, also faced similar challenges. In his quest for enlightenment, he abandoned everything he knew, including his material comforts and his life as a prince. In solitude, Buddha meditated under the Bodhi tree for days, facing his own doubts and fears. However, his commitment to his purpose kept him focused. In the end, it was his solitude and silence that led him to enlightenment. Similarly, each day that you face the challenges of your own silent change, you move closer to your own version of personal enlightenment. Facing the challenges of silent change requires resistance and resilience. Resistance to not succumb to the temptation to give up or seek external validation, and resilience to pick yourself up whenever doubt knocks you down. This is a process that strengthens your character, and although difficult, it is necessary for the creation of a stronger, more authentic version of yourself. An example of resistance and resilience is the journey of Malala Yousafzai, who, despite being severely injured in an attack for advocating for girls' education, did not stop in her fight. During her recovery, away from the media spotlight, Malala faced moments of doubt and loneliness. During that time, however, she worked within herself, strengthening her conviction and preparing to return to the world as an even more determined advocate. Her time of quiet change allowed her to emerge as a global leader, stronger and more inspiring than ever. The challenges you face during your metamorphosis into the shadows are inevitable, but they are also the clearest indicator that you are on the right path. As you face isolation, doubt, and the temptation to share your progress, you are developing an inner strength that is unshakable. Always remember your purpose, the why behind your decision to change in silence. In the end, This process will not only transform you, it will prepare you to emerge as the best version of yourself, stronger, wiser, and more resilient than you ever imagined. Imagine for a moment the magnitude of the surprise when you finally decide to emerge. Those who thought they knew you will see a version of you they never imagined. Every look of disbelief, every whisper of astonishment, will be the echo of your silent effort, the result of that hard work you did in the shadows. While they wonder, how did he do it? You will be at peace, fully aware of every sacrifice, every decision made in secret that has brought you to this moment. You are about to make a monumental revelation, and this will be your living testimony to the transformative power that comes as you disappear from the public eye to be reborn stronger, wiser, and completely renewed. This is the moment of final preparation. Every little detail matters. The finishing touches, the adjustments that perfect your transformation. It's like when a sculptor polishes his masterpiece before displaying it to the world. Michelangelo, before unveiling his famous David, spent weeks painstakingly adjusting every curve and every muscle of the sculpture, because he knew that would be the moment when all his work would be judged. The world only saw the result, but Michelangelo knew every challenge he faced in creating such a perfect work. Like him, your revelation is not rushed, it is meticulously planned and executed at the right time. The surprise and mystery behind your transformation will be one of your most powerful assets. Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest inventors in history, worked on many of his discoveries in the dark, away from the spotlight. When he finally revealed some of his inventions, the world was fascinated, unable to understand how someone could have done so much in silence. That mystery surrounding his work generated admiration and respect. In the same way, when you decide to showcase your transformation, it will not only be what you have achieved that will impact others, but the fact that you achieved it in silence, without the need for constant recognition or external validation. There is something emotionally powerful about the act of revealing yourself to the world after a long period of transformation. Imagine the emotional impact of a work of art that has been created in secret for years, such as the case of Claude Monet and his famous water lilies. Monet worked tirelessly on his series of paintings, creating a monumental art cycle that represented years of observation, effort, and dedication. When he finally exhibited his work, it was as if he had opened a window into his soul, revealing not only his skill as a painter, but the deep inner process he had lived through for years. You too are about to expose an essential part of your being that has grown in silence, and that revelation will have an emotional impact on those around you. The revelation of your new version doesn't always happen all at once. Sometimes, the strongest impact comes from a gradual reveal, where the world begins to notice small changes, fragments of your new identity, until finally they can't ignore your complete transformation. This is similar to what Steve Jobs experienced on his return to Apple. After years of working in silence after being fired from his own company, Jobs returned with a completely renewed vision and products that no one expected. The iPod, iPhone, and iPad not only transformed Apple, but revolutionized the world of technology, changing the public's perception of what was possible. Jobs didn't reveal everything at once, but introduced his new vision gradually, allowing the impact to be even greater. You, too, have the power to control the pace and scale of your disclosure. You can choose when and how to share different parts of your transformation, ensuring that each aspect is met with the impact it deserves. A key aspect of your revelation will be the balance between humility and pride. Yes, you have worked hard, and you have every right to be proud of what you have accomplished. But also, you must remember that true personal growth comes with a deep humility, an understanding that there is always more to learn and to improve. Mahatma Gandhi is a great example of this balance. Despite being a world-changing figure, Gandhi always maintained his humility, knowing that his personal transformation and India's freedom struggle were not mere personal victories, but a part of a larger purpose. Your disclosure should reflect not only how far you have come, but also how aware you are that this process of growth never ends. Humility will attract even more respect, because it will show that, although you have improved, you are still a work in progress. You will also have that ability. When the world sees what you have accomplished, your story will be a spark of inspiration to those who are also looking to change, but don't know where to start. You will be a living example of what is possible when someone is truly committed to disappearing and being reborn better. The moment of revelation is not the end of your journey, but the beginning of a new chapter. What you have accomplished so far is impressive, but the world that awaits you after the reveal will bring you new challenges, new opportunities, and new ways to continue to grow. This is just the beginning of a completely transformed life, a life that you have created in the shadows and is now ready to shine. So keep building, keep evolving. Don't let outside voices distract you from your true purpose. While the outside world speculates about what you will be doing, you continue to transform yourself, molding a version of yourself that defies expectations. When you finally close this secret chapter and present yourself to the world, you won't just be a better version of yourself. You will be a living masterpiece, a testament to the unwavering dedication you have put into your own evolution. This process of change is not a one-time event or a final destination. Like the famous sculptor Auguste Rodin, who said he was always learning, your transformation is a work in progress. Even when you think you have reached the top, there will be new heights to climb, new aspects of yourself to polish. Rodin never considered his art complete. In the same way, your evolution is an ongoing commitment, where each day offers you a new opportunity to grow, learn, and become better. Disappearing from the old self is not something that happens overnight. It is a daily process, an ongoing effort to let go of what no longer serves you. It means breaking habits, challenging limiting beliefs, and facing the deepest fears you've held onto for years. Like the Buddha, who dedicated his entire life to the pursuit of enlightenment, you too must commit to your own evolution, not as a temporary goal, but as a lifelong path. Every day is a new opportunity to leave behind an old version of you and move forward into a brighter, more authentic future. However, on this path of continuous transformation, it is also essential to find balance. Constant growth does not imply a frantic race without rest. Even the most powerful fire needs to be controlled, fed, and maintained. Bruce Lee, the legendary martial artist, understood that true power lies in balance. While he spent hours perfecting his body and mind, he also knew that rest was vital to his development. You too must learn to balance your commitment to evolution with moments of reflection and pause. These periods of calm will allow you to integrate what you have learned, preparing you for the next level of growth. Detachment is also key in this transformation process. As you move forward, you may be tempted to cling to past accomplishments or old versions of yourself that provided you with security. But to continue to evolve, you must be willing to let go of what no longer defines you. Albert Einstein put it clearly when he said, "The measure of intelligence is the ability to change." You must detach yourself from any past identity that keeps you from growing, so that you can freely transform into who you can truly be. This ongoing commitment to your evolution is not just for your own benefit. As you grow, you also impact those around you. It is like a pebble thrown into a still lake, whose ripples expand beyond what you can see. Martin Luther King Jr. is a clear example of someone whose personal commitment to justice and equality changed the lives of millions, proving that when you dedicate yourself to your growth, that progress has a ripple effect on the world. Finally, you must remember that this ongoing commitment to your evolution is not a burden, but a privilege. It is the daily opportunity to be reborn, to leave behind what no longer serves you and emerge stronger, wiser, and more authentic. The philosopher Heraclitus said, "No one bathes twice in the same river," and the same applies to you. Every day, every choice, every little effort allows you to rebuild yourself and become an improved version of yourself. So keep disappearing a little more of your old self and emerging as someone new, with renewed purpose and unwavering strength. There is no end to this journey of growth, but it is precisely in that constant engagement that true transformation lies. Listen, can you hear it? It's the soft crackling of flames, the sound of fire consuming the old to make way for the new. This is the moment you've been waiting for, the moment of your resurgence. You've worked in silence, cultivating your strength in the darkness like a seed germinating underground. You've grown, transformed, and been reborn. And now, finally, it's time to emerge. But let me warn you, this moment won't be as you imagined. Don't expect a red carpet, fireworks, or immediate applause. The world won't be ready for your transformation. And that, my dear Phoenix, is exactly how it should be. When you rise after a true metamorphosis, the world doesn't know how to react. It's like a meteor crashing in the middle of a peaceful Sunday afternoon. There will be shock, confusion, maybe even resistance. Because your change doesn't just challenge you. It challenges the perception the world had of you and what you were capable of. Imagine the scene. You walk into a room full of people who thought they knew you. Suddenly, there's silence. Eyes fix on you. Conversations stop mid-sentence. You can almost hear the collective astonishment, that moment of disbelief before reality sets in. In that instant, you will be a living enigma, unrecognizable even to those who swore they knew you better than you knew yourself. Your presence will be magnetic, drawing in gazes and thoughts like metal to a magnet. Your confidence, forged in the fire of your silent transformation, will be unshakable. You will walk with the assurance of someone who has seen their own potential and realized it. You will speak with the clarity of someone who has spent countless hours in dialogue with themselves. You will act with the decisiveness of someone who has carved their own path in the dark. And as the world tries to comprehend this new you, remember, you don't need their validation. Don't seek external approval as if it were water in a desert. You are no longer that person. You have transcended the need for applause because now you know the sweet taste of self-realization. What you've accomplished is extraordinary. You've done what few dare to do. Symbolically die, shedding your old self, to be reborn into your most powerful version. You've been the alchemist of your own life, transforming the ashes of your past into the gold of your future. This resurgence is not the end of your journey. It is, in many ways, just the beginning. Because now that you've tasted the power of silent transformation, you know you can always return to the shadows, always reinvent yourself. You've discovered the secret of constant evolution. So go ahead, reborn phoenix. Spread your wings, let yourself be seen in all your splendor. Let the world marvel at your transformation. And if anyone asks how you did it, just smile. Because you know the real magic happened in the silence, in the shadows, in those moments of determination that only you witnessed. Welcome to your new life. Welcome to your true power. The world is not ready for what you're about to offer. Let me tell you something important. This is not the end. No, my dear traveler, this is just the beginning. The beginning of your true potential, the first step in a journey that will change your life forever. Think about everything we've discovered together. The power of strategic silence. The magic of metamorphosis in the shadows. The strength of resurgence. These aren't just ideas, they are keys. Keys that can unlock doors you didn't even know existed within you. Now, the question is, are you ready? Are you ready to embark on this journey of silent transformation? Are you prepared to disappear, only to rise stronger, wiser, more authentically you than ever before? If you feel a spark of excitement, if you sense a flicker of recognition deep within, then this is your moment. The universe is whispering to you, inviting you to take the first step on this path of self-discovery and reinvention. And here's the beautiful part. You don't have to do it alone. There's a whole community of brave souls like you. People who have chosen to take control of their destiny and rewrite their story. People who understand that sometimes, to shine the brightest, you first have to embrace the darkness. Do you want to be part of this silent revolution? Do you want to learn more about how you can apply these principles to your daily life? Then I invite you to join us on this ongoing journey. Each week, we'll explore new facets of this art of transformation together. We'll share stories of those who have walked this path before us. We'll unravel practical strategies you can apply to your own life to begin your metamorphosis. And to make sure you don't miss a step of this journey, why not join our community? It's as simple as clicking that little subscribe button. By doing so, not only will you receive notifications of new episodes, but you'll also be making a commitment to yourself. You'll be saying, yes, I'm ready for this transformation. Always remember, the world belongs to those who dare to disappear, only to re-emerge unbreakable. To those who have the courage to dive into the unknown, face themselves in the darkness, and emerge renewed. So as the music fades and we reach the end of this episode, I want to leave you with one last thought. A final whisper that I hope will resonate in your heart long after you've closed this video. It's your turn to disappear and rise legendary. The choice is yours. The moment is now. Are you ready to begin your metamorphosis?